watched Charlie Burns' Midwest Dad as an airline attendant. Are you guys familiar with Charlie?
I am not.
So he
Nope.
is a Wisconsinite and has a very funny character who just hams it up.
Excellent.
And it has a lot of Midwesternisms and shit. It's really funny.
Perfect. Okay. I have stuff started. I had to restart the stream, which is a bit of a bummer, but everything's working. OBS just like loaded 80% of its functions.
So it was me.
No, it just does that sometimes. Like for no reason that I've ever been able to find out. But hello. Sorry, stream and chat. Hi Carl, good to see you. I think things are working now. So yeah, had to restart stream, but thanks for stalling and or being patient. Friends, shall we proceed to game?
Yes, quite. Game.
Yes, quite indubitably. So,
Indeed.
last time
On Dragon Ball Z.
So last time you guys found a room for presumably some part of the process of processing dead bodies in this ancient temple of a death god where you've been finding like mortuary services and Nemo's active effect of comprehending languages via the spell Comprehend Languages, who'da thunk it. You've been able to tell that that is just a service that this temple provided back when it was in regular use. And you found some interesting things. You found what Shoko identified as a drift globe, a magic item that you can attune to and just make it hover around producing light. You found some gloves that Cole just like put on. Just some gloves.
That's a decision.
It's a choice.
It's called fashion, Karen. Look it up.
To be fair, I don't.
To be fair,
I do believe that I mentioned this, and if not, I'll mention it now. Cole, when interacting with those as the first person to do so, you would kind of feel a tick in your estuary that they are some kind of magic item you can attune to.
yeah,
Okay.
you did mention that last time.
Okay, cool. You guys also found inside this chest in the other room a giant mineral gemstone that Ayegie put inside a bag of holding with great effort, as it weighed 500 pounds, so you couldn't even lift it into the bag. And it weighed over 500 pounds because it broke through. You learned the weight limit of a bag of holding. So
That's not even the
Problem
best part.
solving.
yeah, and you found some of the crushed up powder version of this thing, and you learned from Shoko, who identified it as cinnabar, is this mineral. And Nemo took some of it and tried to learn some of its properties, and she tested it by putting it on Ron's arm and then doing a Simba across his forehead.
Does it still count as animal testing?
I don't think so. You skipped that part of the approval process. But so you did that on your hired bodyguard / guide's face and realized that whatever cinnabar actually is, it agitates the skin pretty bad after a short delay. And so Ron went to go dunk his face in that pool of water in this room and came to find out that there's something else about that water that like stung the shit out of his eyes. And ultimately it took I want to say it was Ayegie or one of you cast Presto or Purify, something like that, to get the effect to stop. But I didn't mention it last week, but for those who don't know it by that name, cinnabar is an IRL mineral that was used in ancient times to preserve bodies in certain parts of the world. Like an ancient technique. This place has several different forms of preserving the dead that are represented and talked about in some of the texts that Nemo has been reading. But cinnabar, chemically, for those of you who know chemistry, of which I am probably the least of those present.
I was gonna talk about this if you didn't.
It is mercury sulfide, which is bad to touch. Very bad to touch. I'm sure it probably would have actually hit way harder than that, but I'm not super familiar and I forgot half the research I did on it. So, you guys got that, and Ron's a little salty about it, but he's fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. Shoko went to investigate that pit that you found in one of the other rooms that you said was just full of bones. And she just went over and whoop, just went down. I mean, she's an owlin. She has wings. She can do that. But that's what she's up to right now. And then you guys ended up finding a secret door, like built into a shifting bookcase. And that gets us to where we are. In this hallway, at the end of the hall, is a heavy metal door with like a cast face, like a cherubic baby Cupid-esque face with a deadpan 1,000-yard stare down the hallway as you approach. And then sticking out from the door underneath that face is a metal arm that on the end of it is a big bowl. And sticking up out of that bowl is a metal spike. Like I believe I said an 8-inch metal spike. Maybe longer, but it's at least minimum 8 inches. And then on a little wall-mounted pedestal, like for a book or something, there's a vellum scroll that is untouched by age that reads in text any of you are able to read. Like, that hasn't been the case with any of the writing in this place. Only Nemo and Ron, because he innately knows Terran as an Earth Genasi, actually know what any of this stuff says. But in this text on this scroll, there are 3 words. Give of yourself. And that's where we're picking up.
Cole's gonna squat down and examine the bowl and the spike. He has a pretty good idea of what this is going for, but he doesn't want to just bleed on something that doesn't require being bled on.
Fair.
So, do I need to make an investigation for that?
What are you just trying to see if there's some other way to open it or
Well,
deduce something? What are you trying to accomplish?
So his intuition, based on there being a bowl and a spike, and it saying "give of yourself," it reads like it is a sacrificial bowl for a blood offering, and so he's trying to see if the spike is sharp enough for said thing, if there's any kind of dried blood or residue, if that is in fact what this looks like it's for.
I would say trying to interpret something like that as if you're suspecting it to be a blood sacrifice thing, I would say that would probably come in the form of a religion check.
Okay.
Or I suppose it could be Arcana.
Too late.
I guess I think they're the same bonus
Yeah,
either way,
they're
unless
both
your
int.
proficiency is different.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like that's fairly on par with whatever you've heard of just as a concept of a blood sacrifice. There may be more to it. There might not be. You're not super familiar with blood sacrifices at this point in your life, but that seems a reasonable conclusion to draw.
All right. Before he slams his hand down on this,
Ugh.
Why slam?
Well, yeah.
Committing to the
I
bit.
said before he does.
But the question still stands.
Why would it be a big spike if not for slamming?
Fair.
He's gonna turn and just look at the team. I think that this requires a blood sacrifice to enter, if I'm reading everything correctly. Any
Yeah, she is gonna look
objections?
mildly horrified that that's the first assumption. She's not gonna stop him, but she will inform him that I'm pretty low on magic. If you hurt yourself.
Do we know if it's an offering for one, like, is it a one per entry, or does only one of us need to stab ourselves and then we all get to enter?
Cole's gonna point at the sign. I suppose it depends how long the door stays open.
Okay. Looking at the sign, it is the first thing we can see written in common.
Written in
Written
a
in
way
a
that we can all
comprehensible
understand it.
language, yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So-
necessarily in common. Like, Nemo, you would get a weird read actually looking at these words.
Yeah, my built-in Google Translate is freaking out.
Well, it's almost like you have an active spell effect that does what some magic on the scroll is already doing. So like you can sense almost like a discordant redundancy. Like when you put two magnets facing towards each other and they resist, you can still understand it, but you can tell that like the magic that you have active upon yourself and the magic on this scroll, like they don't want to get along, but they do. Like it's not a problem, but whenever you look at those words, you get a weird sort of like the text looks like it vibrates almost for you.
Maybe you need glasses.
No, I don't.
Is that what astigmatism is?
Shut up.
Nemo squinting intensifies.
I mean, you did find a pair of glasses in a previous room
Yes, we did.
inside
We
that
did.
chest.
Yeah. Maybe I do. Cole, can I see those glasses?
He's gonna reach inside his pack and give them to you.
She'll
And
look
while-
at the lenses.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, he's gonna take, let's go his middle finger and press, the meaty pad of it down onto the sharp part of the spike to try and get a drop of blood presented.
Okay. All right. I need to pull up a thing.
You doomed us all.
Pulls up, how does instant death work in D&D?
Oh, don't worry. I know how that works. That's fine. That's not the issue.
Oh no.
What are the
It works
psychological
instantly, Pez.
repercussions?
PTSD.
Yeah. I didn't think that would fail me as a prep bit, so sorry, 1 second. Excuse me.
I only brought up like 2 things for you.
Oh, I don't have that as available as I thought I did because a lot of my PDFs that I use for like references for things like this are in Google Drive.
Mhm.
I have a whole Google Drive just for Evard things. But every now and then something, usually like a third-party book that I have that's not official 5e stuff, but like a Kickstarter we thought was cool and backed, I put those on the Google Drive so that I can reference them quickly. But there's a couple of them that we have that are too big. They'll go into Google Drive, but you can't like do
Open them.
anything with them except see they're there. So I don't actually have, I can't read what I need to read, but that's okay. I can do a basic thing. I can give you a basic touch of what we're doing. So Nemo, you take those glasses and you put them on.
Yeah.
Okay. So these glasses are spectacles in Evard are. You've probably seen them before. You would know what spectacles would be the term most people use, but glasses would also fly. Like you would know what they are if you hear them, but like not a lot of people have them. They're usually kind of expensive, shaping glass in a way that makes those fine lenses useful with medieval era technology, albeit magic. If it's not a magic item, like they're pricey. But these lenses are like the rectangular shaped glasses, just a simple metal frame. And Nemo, when you put them on, every time somebody around you says something, your vision gets blurry a little bit. You can make sense of details, but everything around you blurs a little bit around the edges. Like when you try and read that text on the scroll.
But how does it make the text on the scroll?
The text on the scroll looks the same.
It looks the same. It's just
Yes, just
my vision blurs for some reason.
everything else around you, whenever somebody is talking and you have the spectacles on, you would notice pretty quick. It's only if you're looking at somebody when they're talking that your vision starts to get kind of blurry. And something at like the bottom of your vision just like shows up that isn't normally there. Like the glasses are trying to maybe display or show or warp the way you are seeing what you're looking at. But it's the same sort of interference as you're having with the scroll and the text on it. Your comprehend languages is apparently, once again, interacting strangely with whatever this thing is supposed to do.
This too has Google Translate, but I'm not attuned to it. Just a fun tidbit. Do I find out if the person who previously had these, are nearsighted or farsighted? As someone who wears glasses, I think this is fun.
Excellent question.
Are they me or are they you?
Yeah, right. They are nearsighted. Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Nope. I rolled that wrong. Okay, yes, they are nearsighted.
Nice.
Roll same number.
Well, there's a third option that I forgot
just
to
being a
factor
hipster?
in.
Oh.
Pretty much, yeah. No corrective like no actual correction in the lenses.
One
They're just
nearsighted
fashionable.
eye, one farsighted eye.
Oh god.
Actually,
No.
they're not lenses. It's just frames.
Oh shit, you right. Okay. But so yes, Nemo, that's what you get putting those on. Cole, you are pushing your hand on a spike slowly.
Yeah.
Just to make it hurt more.
Okay. Make a con save for me.
I was gonna say pain is the only way he knows he's still alive.
Okay, honestly. Oh shit.
How much do you like that finger?
Palm is his whole hand.
I should have said ring finger.
So, as you are trying to slowly apply pressure onto the top of this spike with your palm to draw blood, like trying to do so in a controlled fashion that would be like enough to get it going.
Can I pause you, Ulf?
Yeah.
did I not say middle finger?
Oh, you
I-
probably did, and it just didn't click for me. So middle
Okay,
finger.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
was a
just wanted to
metaphor.
clarify
Oh.
before you continue.
Okay.
He has a prosthetic middle finger.
So as you start pressing your middle finger down to try and draw some blood, the slow pressure to like get just enough but not go too far is a little too much. And like your instincts kick in and say this is dangerous. This is this is not okay, and you just can't quite bring yourself to muster the will to actually draw your own blood, at least not in this way. You'd have to try and do something different.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Slamming it is.
Nope. Forehead. Here we come.
Oh god. Oh.
Oh, oh no.
That's a mental image for you all.
Thank you, thank you. It's a magic trick. He's gonna make the spike disappear.
Exactly.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
So he's gonna kind of hand off. Yeah, that not what I imagined.
I'm also afraid of needles. It's okay.
So he's gonna pull out his knife. It's like there's more than one ways to
The skin of coal.
yeah to bleed a coal. Um,
Fair.
uh,
Hot take of the day.
I have. Oh my god, I. It's like the third time in this situation where I've wanted to make an inappropriate joke about Cole's love life.
It's just a little prick.
Oh.
Oh, hey-oh, there it is.
Oh. Wow.
Didn't want to commit to the joke. Someone else stole it. Whoops.
That was not at all what I was
Mine
going
was-
for.
I was using my free action.
Yeah, no, you did. That you did. Um, so he's gonna take his knife and do a small cut across the tip of his ring finger to then drip a couple drops of blood onto the spike.
Okay. Uh, you you take 1 point of slashing damage as you slice your hand.
Oh, dang it.
And drip some blood onto the spike, into the bowl. Any particular way you want to be doing that, or just getting the blood in there?
Hitting the spike at least with one drop, and then a couple drops in the bowl.
Okay. So you do that, and you watch as your blood offering drips down from your hand and hits the spike, and spreads down and coalesces into the bottom of the bowl, and it begins to rest, and it stops moving, and nothing's happened.
Was
How
there
long is
a,
this supposed to
a
take?
handle on this door?
There is no handle, there is no knob, there is no keyhole. This is
There's
a
just the
solid
cherub.
chunk of metal with a
Yep.
face, an arm, a spike, and a bowl. You can see that there are the hinges would be on the other side, but like you can see that there is a gap around for this to be a door or like some kind of opening.
So now that there's some blood in it, uh, uh, Cole is going to like try and just push down on the bowl to see if like it requires some pressure. Say, emulating if someone, I don't know, slammed their hand down on the spike.
Okay. When you do this, you can feel that like that arm that this is mounted on and the bowl that's attached to it. The spike is actually just part of the arm. Like the bowl apparently has a hole that just like it went down over top, and got affixed somehow onto this spiked metal arm sticking towards you,
Mm-hmm.
it's really solid. Like, you can put some pressure on there and it does not feel like it's going to budge or move at all. And nothing's happened. If nothing else, it's good craftsmanship.
Slaps the side of the bowl. Yep, that puppy ain't going anywhere.
Womp womp.
Any suggestions?
How do we know that's the door to go through and there's not some other brick wall like the one we came through?
You mean the wall that Cole was trying to cut through?
No, just, I mean, it seems like a pretty good way to keep people out of somewhere to have a completely sealed, immovable door, and then just have one of these walls or floors have a secret button or trigger.
Mm. Nemo looks around with these glasses.
So, Cole's also gonna push on the cherub's face.
Smear blood on its face.
Maybe.
Okay. Pushing on the cherub's face does nothing except reinforce how solid this barrier is.
Hmm.
Like, it was cast with this face as part of the entire metal door slab. It's all one piece. Except for the bowl, as previously mentioned.
Sorry, does it have hinges?
You can see the crack around, like, the frame where there would, in theory, be hinges, probably just on the other side.
Because doors are only attached to their walls by hinges. The hinges would have to be attached into stone. We wanted to just cut enough to cut around the hinges, then shove the door.
So,
That is also a possibility.
so the problem with that is that the hinges are the fulcrum in which the door swings, and you have the locking mechanism on the other side, which is typically not hinged. So you might be able to cut the hinges off, but the other side will probably just be sticking straight into the door, if not latched in some kind of curve. So I don't think we'd be successful.
If you run your, can you fit a knife in that crack?
Giggity.
I mean, I guess you could fit your stone cutting knife in the crack regardless. And then if you run the knife around, it'll catch on whatever isn't stone, so you'll know where the locking mechanism is.
It depends how thick the door is, though.
Oh yeah. You have a better idea, or do you want to stab yourself again? Yeah, she is all the way in the back. She can't do shit.
I could go back to cutting a hole in the wall.
I feel like if you're gonna cut a hole in the wall anyway, you might as well just carve a little bit around the door.
You guys know that that meme where it's like, it's a piece of paper that says like a puzzle for third graders, and it
Yep.
has the party freaking out while the DM's sitting there with his head in his hands.
You want to confuse your D&D players as a DM? Look up puzzles for first graders and adapt them to the setting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give them a river to cross.
Oh my god, no.
Oh, give them a normal looking door.
We spent 2 hours, 3 hours IRL
I think it was 3. I always say 3.
in one of the first campaigns or one of the first sessions of the campaign Pez ran several years ago. 2 or 3 IRL hours in this session trying to get across a river where the bridge was broken and the river could be walked through, but the current was strong and it was full of quippers. If you don't know 5e, quippers are piranhas. And it took us 3 hours to get
Really did.
across the river. It was exactly that same energy. Or just put a simple door, keep it closed, and everybody will assume it's locked or trapped. Like that's one of my favorites. Is like, did you try just opening it? Clearly, you guys did.
Yeah. Well, and when people say, "Can I do this?" you go, "Are you sure?" Or you want to attempt that?
That's one of my
You can
favorite
try.
DM questions to ask is, are you sure? Do you say that in character?
Nemo lets go of her comprehend language
Okay.
and see if I have to tune to the glasses, don't I?
Yes.
Oh, and that's gonna take an hour.
I proceed to cat.
If you the way my homebrew mechanics and like concept of an estuary works is if you like are like touching or wearing an attunable magic item, but you are not attuned to it, you can tell in your estuary that it can be attuned to. So like you can still drop comprehend languages if you want to, but knowing that you would need to attune to it first, like Nemo would be aware of that. You, the player, were not necessarily aware of that, but like you can still keep that up unless for some other reason you want to drop it.
Okay. Then I guess I'll just keep it up.
So
Would
one other thing is, Cole noticed that the bowl was not attached. Can the bowl be removed, like lifted up?
You can try.
He'll try.
That you touch the bowl?
Cole touches the bowl.
Okay. It doesn't want to lift up like easily on its own. You could attempt to make an athletics check, or if you want to use dex, you could try acrobatics. Just convince me how you're being acrobatic about lifting a bowl.
Um, I'd rather, you know, another way is, without strength, but there's finesse, like using a sleight of hand to kind of like jiggle it this way and that, and getting just kind of the right tippy tap pressure.
Yeah, you could try sleight of hand.
Yeah. Oh.
That makes sense to me. Let's do it.
I am getting all my low rolls out now,
Hey, that's
so later
yeah,
we're gonna be golden.
excellent. So trying to like find and figure out how this is attached and how you might be able to remove it. You find that at the bottom, this bowl that is possibly some sort of like porcelain or ceramic, maybe? It doesn't look like it's metal, and it doesn't look like just standard base clay, and it's definitely not wood. But whatever it is somehow welded on the bottom to this arm that it's attached to. From the top, it looks perfectly smooth and like seamless bowl spike. Like just snug fit, no gap between the two at the bottom for when you're looking down into the bowl. But like messing around, it is actually like somehow welded or otherwise adhered to a small
Does
flat surface.
does the quote unquote weld look like the quote unquote weld on the egg?
It does not.
Okay, just checking. I've given my 2 ideas of the night. I'm spent now. Good luck.
But that being said, Cole, this is not going to be easy to remove. A 10
Gotcha.
sleight of hand will not be sufficient.
Well, he's going to back up and let someone else take a crack at it. He's tried what he thought would work, so he's just gonna do a well, tag out.
Slaps thighs. Well,
Exactly. As he,
That's-
as he stands up from a kneeling position. Well, I suppose.
So, like, if Nemo looks at that scroll again, uh, what are the letters doing specifically?
You still have comprehend languages up?
Yes.
Like you see them. You don't necessarily have a way of knowing this, but you as a player, you're seeing them the same way everybody else does. But for you, they just kind of seem to be like vibrating to the extent that there's like a slight blur at the edge of each letter on the scroll.
Mm.
But otherwise, it looks pretty normal.
Ah. Could she do her little trick?
You could do your little trick.
Oh, yeah, we have the little trick.
Okay, let me look up a thing about your little trick. Make sure I remember some of the specifics correctly. So stand by. Sorry if I'm... Oh, I actually don't think I need to do anything with your character sheet. I can just read it. It's nice. I just gotta find the right section. There it is.
They found the mouse again.
They have found the mouse
Oh,
again.
no.
It's been going for a couple minutes.
It's-
Okay. Uh. Cool. Cole and a Yajier, if I could ask you guys to deafen yourselves in Discord for a minute.
I'm just gonna take my headphones off. Signal me when we're good.
Okay.
Yep. Post something in the general chat.
Yeah, we'll do.
Oh,
Or
all right.
ooh. Hold on. I might have another.
Am I getting yoited?
Hold on. I may have a solution. If it wants to. Oh. I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. Okay. You go there. You go there.
Okay.
Okay. You guys can hear me now? Well, I know.
Yes.
Possum, you can? Okay,
Yep.
cool. I will come back and grab you in a minute. This shouldn't take super long.
Okay.
Okay. So, as you are standing there and you go into your trance, you initiate your quickening, and the quick meditation that it takes to start this, as you connect your soul to the wider universe and the other planes of existence, you open your eyes and you can see the ethereal plane around you. You can see 60 feet in a circle around you, the edge of which is just that oh so familiar ethereal mist, that fog that just coats the whole plane except for the space you can see into. That makes a lot of stuff hard to see, but you can see through most things in this plane. And it just kind of makes sense, even with, several layers of walls thick. Like, you can still see and make sense of what's going on. You can't see into this room. It is blocked as if a solid barrier.
Oh.
This is something you have never heard of before, never encountered before. As far as you, Nemo, are aware with your professional experience, your skill, and knowledge in this level of witchcraft, this borderline shouldn't be possible. The door is the same. You see it, it still blocks your vision. But there's another part of this trance that you can benefit from here, even though your vision is blocked trying to see through this. You can see through a lot of the other walls around you. you can actually see that off to your, if you're looking at the map on Roll20, off to your like southwest, your bottom left from where you are, there are a couple other big rooms that look like they might have some sort of connection in the room previous, possibly behind another hidden door.
Oh,
Because there were 2 bookshelves in that corner. But one of the other things about your quickening that you can benefit from here still is, I want to pull up the exact words to make sure that I get it and that chat gets it. If I don't scroll too far and miss it. You, as far as the emotional energy surrounding you, this place is oddly placid emotionally. And just like the energy in the ethereal plane in this place is just calm. But like almost like a forced calm. And as far as within 60 feet of you, any spirits that are bound in some way, there are 3 spirits in this room. You can detect them there.
oh, fun. Okay.
And they are... Hold on. I want to make sure I get the right name. I thought I remembered. But there's something that can be kind of similar, so give me just a second. But after this, that'll be... Feel free to ask questions, but you probably won't be able to get a ton more out of this. Because whatever protections are around or in this room, they are extremely advanced. Like, they apparently transcend planes of existence. So, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are... God. Oh, there it is. I think? No, that's not it. Okay. If nothing else, there it is. Uh, you can sense that in the other room, on this side of the veil, in the ethereal plane, there are 3 phantom warrior spirits.
Great.
Now that is a specific kind of spirit, one you probably don't necessarily know a lot of. If you want to make a check, you could try. But this is one you probably haven't had much opportunity to encounter.
Hmm.
But that's up to you if you want to see or not.
Uh,
But the
could
magic involved lets you know that is what's back there.
yeah. Could like a religion check
Sure.
help me? Like she has been told a story.
Yeah.
Okay. Please. Hey.
Okay. Um, you probably have heard a story or something similar about somewhere in your training early on in your witchcraft and the practices that give you abilities like doing your quickening. One of the kinds of spirits that's not very common is this variant of a white. It's specifically a white as a like base spirit type that Nemo would know some about. But particularly this variant of a white is supposedly bound to protect certain places. They're not always given orders that make sense, but whatever they understand their orders to be, they exist solely to live out that duty. So
Okay.
they're probably, as a phantom warrior in a room like this, they're probably protecting something. But
Yeah.
the energy, the emotional energy here is calm. It's not like an agitated tension
Hmm.
or anything like that. So they may not be inherently aggressive.
Okay. And then with the scroll, the words don't change or anything like that, right?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Um. Cool. Those are the clues.
Yep. Any
Okay.
other questions
Um.
before I pull everybody in?
Okay. No, because my main question was was gonna be if they would be aggressive, like if it was gonna be on site. But if the general vibe of the area is supposed to be calm, maybe there's hope.
Yeah, you get the sense it probably wouldn't be on site. Probably.
Okay. Probably. Maybe. Hopefully. Okay.
Okay, we'll get them back in.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yay!
Okay,
Friends.
sorry for the abrupt change in how I do things, but that is an absolutely just for Nemo thing that you guys don't know about. All you see is the same kind of thing. I guess you guys have seen any actual physical indication of this once before, if you even noticed it was happening. Nemo, is there any particular way this looks or sounds or anything that whatever you're doing that they'd be able to pick up on?
I guess I always describe it as how she typically has been casting magic. Because she hasn't done anything uh differently yet. So like the pupil of her eyes are um dilated and they're glowing blue along with like her choker. Uh but yeah, but at least now she's actually like looking around.
Yeah.
Like physically around the area. Like there's two walls on either side of her, but she's looking around.
Sus.
um, and yeah, the only other time, I guess, no, you guys probably wouldn't have even noticed it then. I guess, well, your eyes start glowing and your choker does a thing. If you did notice, the only other time you would have seen this happen was when she was holding Tenth's face in his workshop and like assessing something about his craftsmanship, maybe? I don't think it was ever really discussed what she was looking for. But if you had noticed that, it's something at least kind of similar that you can see Nemo is up to. Which may not be anything other than she's looking around at solid walls.
Yeah. And then she has like the 1,000-yard stare where she like turns around. Like, oh. Okay. And then she turns around again and look back at the door.
I'm just gonna let her cook.
Okay.
Uh,
Otherwise, yeah. Carry on, Nemo.
yeah. I don't know how else to say this, but I feel things beyond the door. um, Also, we may have missed a door back in the other room. Um,
Here to lead the
Uh,
way.
but this one seems more important.
So they don't lead to the same spot?
Uh,
From what you could see and make sense of, no.
no.
Do you know how to open the door?
No.
Nemo just starts sobbing. No.
Okay, so Cole has an idea.
Oh boy.
So he. Say what?
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
But, oh no. I just have a question, Cole.
Yes.
Do you actually care about giving up blood?
At
Like,
this point, I didn't think the blood was gonna work. I have a different thing I was gonna try.
oh.
Unzipped pants.
Oh.
I killed him. He's dead.
No, you killed off his bloodline.
Oh,
It could be both. One may beget
If-
the other.
yep. If this doesn't work and we do need blood, we could always steal some out of the pit that we came across earlier.
The
Oh,
one in
I
like, the
see.
mortuary room.
Oh.
But Cole is going to turn around, kind of lean up against the door, and put one foot up on it, glance over at the bowl, look up at the face, and then take his fist and knock the door twice, like with the back of his fist, like boom, boom, like the Fonz does.
It surely has to work.
Okay. All right. A door, a box, a chest, a set of manacles, a padlock, or other object that contains a mundane or magical means that prevents access. A target that is held shut by a mundane lock is stuck or barred, becomes unlocked. If it has multiple locks, only one is unlocked. If it's an arcane lock, that spell is suppressed for 10 minutes, during which time the target can be opened and shut normally. Alright, so Cole, you do this. You knock, and oh boy, does that resound. Like, you can hear it reverberating not only in this hallway that you're in, but which is, for the state some of these ruins have been in, like, in pretty good shape, all things considered, where some actually had holes in the wall that you could, like, see through and try and cut a hole through. You can hear the sound of this magic knock reverberating through the cavern in which this entire ruin set is contained. Like, it echoes. It is a fantastic and a terrifying sound.
Nemo covers her ears. Oh.
And as soon as you do, you feel the magic of the knock spell struggle and struggle. Something about this is really funky. Make an Arcana check for me, and make it with advantage. As you are trying, the magic you put into this is trying to overcome something very, very different than other sorts of things you've used this spell on before.
Okay. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Does inspiration just allow a reroll, or does that give advantage?
It gives advantage.
But has to be announced before the roll.
Yes. And
Yep.
and
Okay.
if you're making, go ahead and make the roll with advantage, so you don't need to burn an inspiration on this.
Oh, I don't.
You do not. No, as a default, I want you to make the roll with advantage.
Oh. Well, thank you very much.
Ha! Okay.
That is a crit.
That is 150 XP to you, sir.
Yay! You see, I was saving up the good roll.
Okay. Since I did this trick once already, sorry, Pez. You and Nemo, really quick, like 60 seconds or less, are gonna go in the quiet room for a minute. Because a thing happens with Cole's estuary, and that's all you're gonna
Oh.
get.
Okay.
He died.
Ooh.
He dies.
All right, so Cole, the estuary in the back of your mind, where you connect with the magic of existence inherent in everything. As you use the knock spell and it interacts with whatever arcane barrier is forcing this door shut, your entire estuary begins to tremble as if an
Oh.
earthquake is happening. And every I know we haven't gotten into a lot of detail, really any detail about like what the features of your estuary are and what it looks like. I apologize,
Yep.
I owe you that. But every interactable feature of your estuary that helps you understand what spells you have access to, how many of them you have, how many you still can cast before you need a rest, all of those things, you get the sense that they are turning on you. That they are trying to work against you and betray you. But fucking A, this is your God's damned estuary. And through sheer force of will, you can, in a hair's breadth of a second, that this all takes place in the back of your mind, while nobody is looking, or nobody can see or tell any of this, you are having a battle of wills against a power you do not understand, that is trying to invade your space to counteract what you're doing. A simple arcane lock spell does not do this. You get dread, deep, overwhelming dread in your soul. This isn't just you get an anxiety spike, this is your soul feeling it. But you feel it crack and shatter and whip back together stronger than it was before. And you kick everything that's not part of your estuary, that you can feel every fiber of what's wrong and happening here. You just figure out in one strong push how to get it all out of there. And you do. And it is expunged, and your estuary is exactly as it was before, except for whatever form the sky, or if it's an indoor space that the roof takes to be determined. It has a shimmer across it that is reassuring. A shimmer like it's been coated in a layer of one diamond that's just been cut in facets across the sky, and it stays that way for the rest of the day, like the rest of the in-game day until you rest. And you
Yep.
just have this extra bolster of, you don't entirely understand what you just did, but you know it was insane, and you overcame something you had no right to overcome.
So,
And the door will open. Spoiler
okay.
alert, the door will open.
Okay. It sounds like in Evard we've always had the kept our estuary pretty tight under wraps due to the concern about invasion, and it sounds like I
Mm-hmm.
just fought off a hell of a one.
Quite, yeah, pretty much, at least by your understanding of estuaries and why people don't talk about it. Yeah. No,
Yep.
that would be extremely concerning. That's not supposed to be possible. But as far as like talking about it with people, if you wanted to, you can talk about some of the things that like happen. Something like the interactable features, like I had said,
Mhm.
those are terms that make sense, that aren't like every estuary has interactable features.
Yep.
Every estuary has a physical space that you seem to exist in the back of your head when you're in there.
Yep.
And so those sorts of very generalized terms you can talk about. That's generally considered acceptable. But if you're to describe, what your interactable features are, that's when it starts being like, what are you doing? But you also just kind of kicked out the worst fear people have about talking about your estuary, so that's up to you.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if that's something to brag about.
True. Would any questions before I bring them back?
Uh, no, but the door unlocks and oh shit, I just had an experience.
Yes. Okay. They're coming back.
Okay.
Or
Welcome
the
back.
outside dick.
Was
What?
mid sentence.
Wait, what?
Talking about Hoban.
Okay.
Talking about
Yeah.
Oh,
Ray. and he doesn't want to be outside, but he also doesn't act like he enjoys the fact that we took him in.
Sometimes, yeah.
He's
Okay,
complicit.
so Aegie and Nemo, the knock, that resounding rumble. The only other thing you notice is that for like half a second, maybe not even half a second, but for long enough to actually be perceivable and barely so, Cole looks like he's frozen in place. Again, for just a tiny little snippet. And when he starts moving again, his body, like, he didn't look like he was clenched up, but his body kind of loosens like he was tensed physically. And the door swings open. And before we go in, I'm going to say let's go ahead and take a wellness break. Because
Hooray!
I like cliffhangers.
Dun dun
Dun
dun.
dun.
See y'all in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. We'll be
It
back in a
was-
couple minutes. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Ooh-ee. Things are happening. Big thing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Things are happening. So, we're going to go ahead, do our wellness break. You guys know the drill, and we're going to see what's on the other side of this room they've been trying so hard to get into for the past hour and a half. And welcome to D&D. If you don't know the game, that's a part of it. Sometimes you have a puzzle like that that just takes longer than you think, and it's kind of an ongoing joke within the game. It's fun, um, especially when Cole just has a spell he can cast. Um, but yeah, I hope that set the tone for a few things for you guys, because I'm excited to see where it all goes. But take care of yourselves. Do whatever you got to do. We are going to have a little bit of wellness. I think Pez and I are probably going to indulge in some fluffy cat interaction time, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. There we go. Welcome back. I hope your wellness break was good. Was what went well? I never know actually how to say that. They both sound weird in my head. But yeah, I hope you got to do something good for yourself. That's the whole point of a wellness break, even if it's doing nothing at all. We have been delighting in the cats. I don't remember since I had to restart the stream in order to get stuff working because OBS was being stupid. Like half of the stuff you guys are supposed to see on the stream wasn't showing up. Um, and I didn't have half of the things I need to see to run the stream showing up. So sorry. Um, but we have our new cats out tonight. The dog is gone, so they get some calm, peaceful, continue integrating into the house freely time. Because these are a couple of feral cats that we adopted last summer, and it's a process getting feral cats used to being inside. Like they want to be in here, they like being in here, but they're still finding the dynamic of it all, and that's okay. But Mama Cat is so cute. She's so sweet. And that's what we got to do on our wellness break is just love on the cats. Um, but I would love to show them to you, but unless she comes over here and is like actually on my lap or on the sofa, I don't pan the camera around to show any other parts of the house for, safety reasons. Also because my house is a mess. So I can't just like when they're being cute on the floor over yonder, I can't just turn and show it to you. But if they come over, I'll show you, and it'll be the first cat cam we get with either of them, which will be very fun. I'm hoping we get to do that. But I think, yeah, I think the rest of the session is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. If you couldn't tell, things are already getting interesting. I don't know if y'all really have. Hmm, sorry, there's a weird. Okay. Yeah. So I know we've been talking about estuaries. If you don't know what that is, that's not a D&D thing. That's a me thing. That's an Evard specific thing. Um, and I won't go into all the details right now. Um, but like essentially, that's any spellcaster in Evard. That's like your standard D&D spellcaster, cleric, warlock, wizard, sorcerer, druid, paladin, ranger. Like that is the mechanic I have come up with for writing a book about D&D to explain like how mages level up essentially and how they have spell slots, which is what you call it in D&D. That doesn't sound good when you're writing a book and have people who can cast spells. Like it kind of breaks the immersion. So I came up with some other terms and stuff. Um, hmm? Yes, and Pez was a huge help for that. Um, so if you want to know more about that, at the top of the playlist on YouTube for all these Yvardsaga streams, there's the like welcome to Evard video, the primer stream that I did, just talking about like the world, the history, some of the mechanics. Estuaries are in there. I can do it again some other time and go over it if you guys want to. You can ask in chat here, you can ask in Discord. Just let me know. But I was also kind of stalling for time until everybody got back from wellness break because Pez was enjoying cats and I did not want to deprive her of cat time. But she has returned, so let's see what's in this room, huh? Okay, I remember how to do things some of the time.
She got
Hello,
pregnant
friends.
somehow, so I don't.
We weren't making lewd jokes over here.
I
No, no, no.
I
Nope,
mean
never.
we totally haven't been at all this evening. Okay.
Also, did you guys see the really cute picture I put of Zoe in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing during our break. That's why it took me so long.
But no, Ulf, we were just saying it feels like Pez deserves some alone time. And then Pez
I get
was
plenty of
like,
private
"Oh,
alone times with the DM.
yeah." Um,
Fair,
Pez, if
fair
you could
point.
believe it, took that into a very naughty place.
Yeah, that as Pez is known to do. Um, all right. Shall we? Oh, that's how. Um, shall we see what's in this room?
You get
Because this door, you've been working so hard on this door, and it swings open. You should be able to see and go through it now, I think. Maybe.
Um,
Oh,
can I just do something off the cuff, Wolf?
you sure maybe can.
I sure maybe can. Um, so what I'm wanting Colt to do is to just kind of let out a long breath and turn around, and everything's fine.
Everything's fine. This is fine.
Insight.
I
Yeah.
don't, I don't,
time.
Do I
I
need to?
don't. No, I think Cole's a little shaken up. I don't think he's exuding an aura of confidence as far as what exactly what he was expecting.
Fair. Yeah, Nemo, I guess you just you had kind of a sense of stuff going on around you just a moment ago. You get a residual sense of that Cole's shook. It's not necessarily that you can see it. Like you can feel it in a sense of what you did earlier still picking it up. Like Yejiye and Ron might be able to see he's shaken up. They don't feel it around them the same way you do for the next couple minutes.
Yeah, kind of like a ripple in a pond.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You pick that up. Something for a split second just happened, and Cole is riding those ripples out for a few minutes still. That said, the door creaks open.
Shall we?
Lead the way.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna scoot so Yaji can get in.
The SGA locks the door behind you, leaves.
So, the door,
That
according
that no, please do it, please.
according to the spell that Cole used, you have 10 minutes until that door closes and re-secures itself based on whatever arcane effect kept it closed. So,
Does it look like there's a way to open it from this side, much like what I did what I did with, there we go, the other door? At the end of last session, I made sure that we could get out from the other door by either
by
placing
propping
something in
something
the
there.
jam or knowing that I could open it from this side.
There's no latch. Like there's no spot in the door frame for like a latch to click into. There's no handle, there's no bar like there there was when Nemo opened the door that shot poison darts at you guys. So
Why
you're
do we
not
have to bring that up?
I gotta. I mean, how can I not? It was funny. Cole got shot in the butt with a poison dart cuz Nemo opened a door. Classic D&D.
Yeah, he didn't appreciate it. That did the most damage to him of any combat.
That's true. Um, so yes, yeah, you don't see anything mechanical about that door's opening and closing function, except for you can see hinges on this side. But
Is there
otherwise, your best bet would probably be to try and jam something in.
I was gonna ask, is there a gap kind of like where the hinges, you know how you can shove something in the hinge side of a door to keep it from closing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there a gap there that I could do that with?
It's small, but yeah, there is.
Worst case scenario, I'm going to ask Cole to make the area a little bigger so I can shove several pythons in that gap.
You could fit a python in there. There's also
Okay.
I haven't gone around and described everything you see yet, but there is also a hole in the wall going into the raw Everdark cavern in the back of
Still
the
want to
room.
secure our
But
known exit.
yeah,
There's 10 pythons. I will use like 5 of them because this door looks heavy.
this door is very heavy.
Does 5 seem like enough?
Uh,
I could just use all 10. Pythons aren't hard to get or make.
Um, can
That
I
would be on
answer that
you.
for AJ?
It's sure.
Yeah,
Um,
she shoves 5 pitons in, and you see her staring quizzically at the door and like, kind of nudging it.
Nicole's gonna uh just kind of walk over and say, "That's not gonna matter."
What do you mean that's not gonna matter?
Those aren't gonna work. Let's be quick and be out of here.
Are you okay?
You're telling me there's no way to keep a door open?
The magic on this door was very strong.
Well, you opened it, so don't you know how to open it now?
Not not without a rest. It took a lot to open it.
Sleeping in the creepy room.
um,
So now we look about ourselves. What do we
yeah.
got?
So, what you have here, there's a lot going on. So up first, like right here next to Cole with this little pink light, if there it is, that thing. Uh, this is a it's a like 10-foot tall statue of a winged creature that looks vaguely kind of fiend-esque, maybe. Uh, Possibly like that giant statue in the main ceremony hall when you guys first walked in. It looks like it might be kind of a stylistically different representation of a similar or the same deity statue in the main hall. There's a soft pink light that is coming from it. You can see that on the map. It's coming from a plaque on like the pedestal that the figure is standing, which is part of the 10-foot size of the statue is just the pedestal. Uh, the light is coming off of runes that are carved into this plaque. And the the plaque is just like nestled on there. Like you don't even have to make a check. It looks like you could probably remove this plaque. Like there's a gap you can see behind it, like it is intended to possibly be removed. Um, Nemo.
Hmm?
At first look, the glowing runes on this don't make sense to you. Your spell does not read them.
Oh.
At least like at a quick glance as you're walking by, since you walked further into the room. Uh, but next to the statue, there is an empty bound book on this pedestal here. Let me pull my map up. So this pedestal right here, the map asset that I had has stuff on the page, but it is empty except for one page that it is open to. And the one thing in there, this all of you can read, much like the prompt out in the hallway. It reads 15. That's all it says in this entire book. Then I am gonna hold on. I'm gonna split my screen here, so I'm not going back and forth between the map and my notes of what you're actually seeing. So then behind that, this big stone thing is a closed up reliquary. Like a chest isn't doing it justice. Like it's big, and it has like a side door on the north side up by Nemo that you open and you can like kind of step in. You'd have to crouch. The sizing of this reliquary is weird, but you have to actually like go inside it. It doesn't open like you just slide the whole lid off. But it's decorated in a lot of stylistic, just just patterns, like they don't necessarily have anything specific portrayed. Probably just whatever was fashionable or appropriate to the deity at the time. Um, Down here, kind of next to Ron, is a. I mean, I know what it is, but I want to make sure I'm giving the right description. Um, that is a leather case that's just kind of been like sprawled out and open, and inside it are a strange collection of small items. At first, it looks like they might be trinkets, but at least a couple of them look like they might be basic spell components. Maybe at least one or two. Any of you might recognize as they might be. I don't know if they are, if they would be for spells you guys know. I don't know off the top of my head what all of you know for spells. Um, but so that's a thing, just on the floor, not on a table or anything. But then there's, this giant ornate golden sarcophagus, and it is gold. It is like you guys are seeing this in dark vision, and it's almost like it's emitting its own light, or it's refracting the little pink glow from those runes to an extent that is almost too bright. Like you can almost see things in here in color, meaning not in dark vision, because this thing is just it's just radiating its own illumination. It's very soft, but it's enough to notice in the dark. And man, it's just shiny gold and beautiful looking. But it is absolutely a sarcophagus and appropriately sized for a full-sized body. Um, Down here, there is a gold display case. So like the framework is all gold, but all four sides, vertical, are glass, so you can see in it. And there is a leather-bound book, another fully bound book. It's closed, and the leather must have been artificially stained to get this particular color to it. It's like a pale gray blue sort of thing. Uh, the the book has a latch to hold it closed, which is not a very common feature for books in Evard. Uh, but none of those are the thing you notice first about this book on display. The first thing you notice is the fact that it has a desiccated tongue pinned onto the front cover of the book.
My bookmark.
Something like that, sure. Um, Up here, on the north side of this sarcophagus, there's a just beautiful, like, again, the ornate gold used to make a lot of the things in this room is just stunning. Like, I don't care if you've been to Summerstone, the wealthiest city in the world. This would put pretty much anything you could imagine being there to show off wealth to absolute shame. Like, it is just beautiful. But this chest is not super big. It's on top of a wooden cabinet that's made from some sort of fancy ass wood species. Like, it's dark, it's got a really noticeable grain texture. It has chatoyancy is your vocab word of the day, if you know what that is. If you don't, look it up. It's about how wood looks sometimes. That's the shortest version of defining chatoyancy I could ever possibly think of, and it hurts me to leave it at
I'm
that.
gonna need you to type that in our Discord later.
Yeah. Yep. We'll do
The
it.
3D visual effect that wood gets in its wood grain.
Yes.
Ah.
If you want to look it up, it starts with CH. That's as far as I can tell for spelling
Okay.
off the top of my head. Um, yeah. And then, sorry, I heard, are things rolling? Okay, thank you. Pez has it spelled on the screen there. Chatoyancy. Um, so that's that cabinet. Very fancy, very fun, very pretty. Bum. So this thing actually, like, yeah, this thing behind the head of the sarcophagus, this is some sort of contraption the likes of which you probably have not seen before. As you can see, it's kind of a triangle where the corners are their own small little, like, not quite cylinders. They have sharper edges, but I don't know that, like a hexagon, but 3D and vertical. I don't know what that's called, but like each corner of this is that, and it's floating. It's about 2 feet tall, and it's floating about 6 feet off the ground, and it's spinning slowly and lazily. And the inside of it, like the edges of it, are pretty much glass with some, not like gold, but some nice metal sort of framing. And the inside of it is just green. You can't tell what makes it look green, if it's the glass, if there's something inside. But you look at it and you kind of get, you just feel like if you interact with this somehow, it probably emits light. If it does anything else, uncertain, but it just has the vibe of some sort of enchanted light source. This thing behind it is just a big green glass, like another tall display apparatus of some kind, but there's nothing in it. It is empty. But it's just like, it's another just like solid pedestal with a big glass case on it. And it just, the green thing is the most noteworthy thing about it because it is empty as far as anybody can see. The only other stuff of note in here would be up by Nemo. This is a cabinet, like a like a a wardrobe armoire-sized cabinet. So Nemo, you can't actually see what's on top of this thing. It is taller than you are.
Damn it.
But from what you can see, oh, I forgot something. Sorry. Back to the floating spinning green thing.
Mm.
I I forgot an important detail. Or it's important to me at least. It might not be important to you or at all. But the big central cylinder isn't empty. The side things are empty and seem like they would emit light. The middle has its own, like, self-contained light that shines inward. It doesn't emit anything into the space around it, but it is shining inward, and you can just see that it's a sand glass inside, an hourglass, but it's falling really, really, really slowly. There's a lot of it left, and a lot of it on the bottom. And however long you spend in here, it doesn't look like the top or the bottom really ever change their proportions, regardless of how much sand is or isn't falling. Forgot that. That was in my notes. I wanted to make sure you got the weird hourglass aspect of that thing. Okay, but then lastly, uh, this cabinet, you can see Nemo like walking up to it. That it's this. It's almost like an awards case, like at like a high school or college, where it's like a glass front. It's got shelves that have stuff on them. It is locked, and then it's got two glass cases and displays on the sides of it. So you can see pretty much everything in there. On top, as far as you can tell, there's just one big, like, gold vase isn't the right word, but I can't think of what the right word is, but kind of like a vase or a weird pan that has a lid.
A basin.
A basin, thank you. Yes, it's a basin made of gold. It's pretty
Ooh.
unadorned, but it still looks nice. It looks very expensive and very heavy, and it is, at least for Nemo, at overhead, so just remember it's might be solid gold if you try and lower it down, because that thing would hurt if that's the case. Uh,
Yeah.
but mostly inside the case, you can see a few different things. A few are some books.
Hmm?
Uh, you can see in both the side cases and in the main central display. In total, there are a dozen books. None of them have writing on the spines. So if you want to see what they're about, what's in them, anything about them, you're going to have to crack them open. Um, Actually, no. I read my notes wrong. Sorry. There are 12 books in the side cases, and the side cases are unlocked, so you can crack those open. There are a few books inside the locked display in the middle that you would have to get inside if you wanted to crack those open. But you can crack open the ones on the outside. Those are fine. Also, in one of the side compartments is a potion bottle. It looks like it's probably just a potion of healing. Inside, you see a bottle that looks like a potion bottle, kind of, maybe, but you can't actually see in it. It looks like it's dark glass. There's a really, really nice ruby, like cut, shaped, sitting on a nice little pillow. There's some sort of nice ceramic jar or bottle of some kind, and a couple other potions that look like potions of healing. There's also a book that does have a name on the spine that you can read. Uh, and it reads as Creatures of Myth and My Wonderful Wiles.
Hmm. Nemo smiles a little. That one sounds cute.
But yes, that is what you see in this room. Now you can have
Okay.
some free reign.
Yeah. Books. Grab all the books before the owl can.
Okay, are you just grabbing the ones that are on the edges that you don't have to like unlock anything for?
Uh.
Or you want to get to the ones that are restricted access first?
Oh. The one that are easy access, just for expediency.
Okay. Uh, they're all bound in different colors. They have um, some different sort of embellishments to give them visual distinctions besides just the color of the binding. But none of them have words on the outside. Even like once you grab them, look at the cover, there's nothing. No text. As soon as you crack one open, um,
Did I trigger the trap card?
Mm-hmm.
as as soon as you crack one open, Nemo, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Because Nemo doesn't know how to read.
She's been thinking it
Well,
this whole
well,
time.
well. How the turntables.
Opening this book has taken your ability to read away from you.
Surprise, Nemo's illiterate.
Listen,
Nemo just has expertise in performance.
Make it till you make it.
Okay. All right. Good saving throw. As you crack open the first of these books, you see that there is text on the pages. You see that they also emit that same soft pink glow as what's on the pedestal, just a little less intensely. And your spell does not make sense of them. In fact, as your spell tries to read the text on these pages, you feel like your brain is trying to split in two. You take 3 points of psychic damage as whatever weird thing about the words on these pages actively resists your magic to read it to the extent that it causes you harm.
That's about the book. Might as well just a nosy ass bitch. Uh.
All 12 of the books on the open the easy access books on the sides of this,
Hmm.
they're all like that. I won't make you take damage each time you crack one open. You can like peek in at a page and see that it's just barely look in the corner and see, oh nope, that one's got pink light, put it away. So
Yeah.
you don't have to do that 12 times to figure out all dozen of the books are like this.
Okay. Um. They really don't want us reading these books. But there is more in the middle here.
It is locked, but it does have an actual like keyhole. So
Hmm.
in theory it could be picked. Or it is glass. In theory it could be destroyed.
Hmm. I'll let somebody else have their turn as snooping.
Okay?
Cole's gonna wanna try and get into this reliquary.
Okay. The reliquary, you'll kind of have to like squat awkwardly to get in, but it
Okay.
has a latch on it on this door that is it's probably supposed to be locked, but either time has affected the lock specifically and like degraded it, or whoever used it last might have just forgotten to lock it. Because it opens for you without a problem.
I will take that.
Okay. So duck waddling inside, it's just shelves with a couple of different items on them. Up first, there is the first thing you notice is a platinum plated sculpture of some kind. Sculpture, I don't know if it's the right word, but like it's not a statue. It's not quite a model, but whatever it is, somebody made it out of platinum, which is borderline an unheard of metal. Like you guys found platinum coins, that was a big deal. It's made out of that metal, and what it is it's a hand clutching a single eyeball in the palm, like the eyeball looking out. The like the optical nerves are still like trailing off the eyeball and like wrapping around the hand. It's a hand in like half of a forearm. And it's sitting on just like a little display pedestal. It's not like locked in or anything. Um, so that's the first thing you see. There's also what looks like, I guess, Cole, you would have seen something like this. This is just an old school form of it. But in Barrett Hold, you would have seen this if you like with at least some of the wealthier folks around. What is a prosthetic hand? Like like an enchanted prosthetic, so that it can have all the functioning capabilities of the advantage of additional function besides just a standard mundane prosthetic. Um, but you do know it something is kind of weird about it at first, and you look at it and you realize it has 6 fingers. Other than that, there's not a ton about it that's worth mentioning. Um, there's a stone chest, just like a small stone chest. You could carry it out with 2 hands. There's a 14-inch tall bone statuette of a strange horned creature, like kind of maybe like the statues you've seen in here so far. And it is warm when you touch it, like warmer than ambient temperature stone in something like this would be expected to be. Um, and then the last thing you see in there is one small semi-transparent carnelian gem. And it's cut, it's polished into the shape of a tooth. So it's a gemstone fake tooth, root and all. It emits a very faint orange light from deep within it. And that's everything that's inside that reliquary.
Uh, he's gonna stick his arms out, or a hand out. Soft paws. I need the bag.
Why does she get a nickname?
It's the only bag I have, and I can't remake it.
No issues, just several goodies.
Begrudgingly. Oh, first off, don't you have pockets?
So, like,
He's like, about that.
for the small things, a few of these are awkwardly shaped, but not heavy.
Begrudgingly, she will bring the bag over.
All right. Before trying to remove it, Cole will open the stone chest to look inside of it.
Okay. As that's happening, those of you not tucked inside that little, very fancy-looking cave, see Shoko and Varkon come in. They looked mildly concerned until she sees this door is open and sees what's in this room, and her eyes go fucking wild, and she just immediately starts zipping around the room. She's not even taking notes. She's just looking at everything. So that's that. Uh, Varkon's just laughing and leaning up against the wall.
Yejier will look at Varkon, and of course, in Giant. You might want to start thinking about how to get her out of here, because I've been told we're on a tight timeline in here.
How much time?
Cole, how much time do we have?
At this point, what, 8 minutes or so? 9. Still 10.
Okay. As she's flittering around, Shoko just goes, "Got it."
I'll say,
Without Valkon needing to interpret. So if you guys hadn't noticed, she does
Oh.
at least understand, if not also speak Giant.
okay.
Yejier will still translate for Varkon,
Yep.
though.
Fair.
So we'll say 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Okay. Nemo, what was your performance roll for? Sorry, Cole, I haven't forgotten
Sus.
you in the chest.
Yep.
That was a self-inflicted role.
I love those.
Yeah. uh, Neil was visibly not happy to see them.
I asked if you guys wanted me to shut the door, and you guys said, no, it's fine. Leave the door open.
I said shut the door. Cole said not to.
I said no.
um, last note I have before getting back to you, Cole, with the chest. Just because it would have happened as soon as they walked in and got told about the time limit. Varkon will look at Yejier and ask, "Is everything okay? There was a very, very loud noise."
I'm gonna glance at Cole and for now, but I think we should get out of this room before the 8 minutes is up.
Understood. Presumably with how loud that knock spell was, not a stretch to think they might be concerned and want to come check on you guys. Cole, the stone chest, it has a lock on it. It is a really, really simplistic looking lock. Like, just looking at it, you're like...
And I still have the thieves' chest, thieves' tools.
Yeah, by all means, you can try and pick it.
Ba-da-ba, these tools.
First you steal my thieves' tools, then you just want me for my bag.
You are so handy to have around. I appreciate you.
Party
Um,
supports be like...
Exactly. But that's sleight of hand.
Yes.
Damn, I'm good.
Hot dog. Yeah, that is... The quality of that lock may have been state-of-the-art maximum security when this temple was in regular use before time was written down, apparently, or whenever Shoko said this place is from. But anymore, it's laughable. You barely have to put the lockpicks in there and, like, mess with the inner mechanisms before it just clicks open. Inside the chest, there is an absolute shitload of copper coins. Just a buttload of copper coins. Like, that is all that's in there.
Oh, that was like the church tithes.
In
Or
particular,
it's copper to cover the eyes.
there are 3,600 copper coins in there. So 36 gold pieces worth. But it all in pennies.
All in pennies.
How heavy is that box of pennies?
Heck.
Oh, balls. I should have known I'd be asked that. I will have to do math outside of stream and let you know. I
As
don't
I need to
remember.
know if that can safely go in the bag.
Yeji is probably gonna see it and look at all the other stuff you want to put in there and know what else is already in her bag and just no.
Veto.
Fill your pockets. You're not putting it in the bag.
The rest is fine.
I'm assuming. I didn't look too hard at the rest.
The rest are pretty small and light.
Yeah, they're small enough they could go in.
Oh,
All right.
ooh.
Everything
nod.
else is going in the bag, and then he will pass it out to a Yejiye.
Make sure you take notes of that because
I have it all written down.
Okay, because I'm like, it's my bag, but I have no clue what's in there anymore.
Yep.
Okay. Cole, make a con save.
I'm putting cursed items in my bag.
Maybe. All
I'm gonna
right.
Curse your items.
Heart of the dice. Heart of the dice. Heart of the dice. Heart of the dice. Oh.
I would say bless you, but I think you've already been blessed. 2 crits tonight. Hot damn. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Grave robbing the dead.
As opposed to grave robbing the living?
Sometimes.
Wait, how do you grave rob the living?
Hey, you can rob a mausoleum when the people that are supposed to go in there are still alive if they built
Yeah.
it
I was
ahead
gonna
of
say, I
time.
purchased this
What?
grave plot 17 years ago, and I'm just putting my valuables in it, and someone took them.
Particularly like some ancient cultures, you would have your like death hoard hidden or buried somewhere, and you would add to
Yeah,
it throughout
before.
your life.
That
That's
later
what
got
Cole's
turned
supposed to do with
into
those pennies.
what is called a bank.
Yes. Okay.
So, bag back to Miss Tall Furry, and then Cole is going to
Don't call me
carry
a
the
furry.
Miss Tall and Furry,
Okay, there we go.
and
An important
Cole.
distinction.
Yep, Cole is going to carry the little stone chest out. I'm assuming struggling a little bit.
I mean, it'll be heavy. Even just the chest itself, like, it's just big enough to contain 3,600 copper coins. So like,
Yep.
it's heavy, but also it's just kind of awkward. But
Yep.
one person can carry this.
Yeah. So while carrying that, he's gonna take it and set it outside the door
Okay.
because he doesn't want to have to worry about carrying that in a time crunch. And he'll
Oh,
set it
oh.
down here.
You know how heavy that would be in gold?
Absolutely. 300 gold pieces is 6 pounds. So it'd be a little over half a pound.
Only? In gold?
In gold? Yeah, because 300 gold pieces is 6 pounds,
Oh
10%
no, sorry.
of that.
Pieces wise. Like that many gold pieces. So instead of being like 300, it'd be times 100. So it'd be 50 pounds. And if you had that many coins in gold.
I'm
number
gonna
of
do
copper
math
coins.
on pennies.
You're better at math than I am, so I believe you.
I was just gold is like a little under half the weight of copper. Copper's a little under half the weight of gold.
Yeah, I'm double check basing
So
off
I
a
have
penny.
24 pounds. If that box, if those were
Okay.
gold coins instead of copper coins, was 50 pounds.
I trust your math.
How many coins was it again? Sorry.
3,600. All I know is 300 gold coins is 6 pounds because that's how much a coin purse can hold. Standard belt coin
Okay, my
purse.
math was off. That'd be 72 pounds.
Yeah, but if we're basing it off of a penny,
And then
3,600 pennies is only 20 pounds.
I have 32 pounds if a copper coin is the same size as a gold coin.
It is the same size as a gold coin, so it would
Yeah,
would
but
actually be bigger than a penny.
Okay.
So I have 32 and a half pounds for the coins.
Yes, let's go with
Okay.
that.
Doing math on stream. This is high quality content,
Exactly.
people.
Okay, but what is the quality of the copper? How much tin
I'm gonna
did they
kick your
put in?
ass.
Get out.
We're gonna melt it and purify it. Give us a minute.
We gotta determine this. Do you have a graduated cylinder? Because we gotta take the density of this shit.
The next time we're at a reenactment event, I'm going to kill you so hard 4 times over in a combat demo for this. I hope you know.
I will try
Worth
very
it.
hard to go see it just so I can hit you with like
This-
a foldable
I-
chair or
Usually
something.
I will-
record.
Bring Pez, and we will argue purity of silver.
Okay. Remind me to leave my Jasper touchstone at home. That'll only help you in this argument. Okay. But yes, so you have a large amount of copper coins at your disposal. You set the chest somewhere out in the hallway before I get super duper distracted from myself. I cannot quickly find a good visual indicator of a loot chest. Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah. Where do you want to put it? Just in the hallway somewhere?
Yeah, I was just saying, like right there or something. Just a little ways outside the door.
Works for me. Eventually, there might be a thing that pops up there.
You can use it to block the door from closing.
That's very true, actually. You could.
All right, we'll do that. We'll put it
I doubt
against the
it'll
door.
stop the door from closing, but it'll make me feel better.
Yeah, it'll make her feel better. Okay.
Fair enough. All right. Any other actions you guys are working on?
I was going to look at the case of stuff that I was standing there before I helped Cole.
And
Okay.
while she's doing that, Cole's gonna
Three
make his
gifts.
way over to the pretty shiny.
Okay. Shoko has settled and is looking over the runes at the statue and the number 15 in that book next to it. Varcone is just absolutely fucking captivated by the book with a tongue on it.
I stand by my theory that at one point it was moist and you used it to moisten your fingers to flip the pages.
Maybe. Nemo, it sounded like you maybe had.
I had a
question.
question
Yes.
that I got distracted from asking. As soon as they got into the room, could she see them?
Probably not see them over the reliquary, but you would have been able to hear them. You'd have seen Shoko fluttering around. At some point, she would have popped over to the case you are at, peeked at it, and then left.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Why?
She thought about giving them a warning about not creating any ripples in this pond.
Ah, okay, fair enough. You sound like you're content at leaving it as thought about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Probably our last thing for tonight, as you guys are exploring, is we'll resolve Cole looking at the metal chest or the gold chest, and a Yejier looking at the leather pouch. Let's go with a Yejier up first. So, I have this written down, so I can copy paste for you what you see in there.
Okay. Who yelling?
But I will still read these to you. Okay. So, there are two copper pieces that are like stacked on top of each other. There is a withered vine, just like a little section of it, twisted into a loop. There's a small vial of what looks to be bone dust, a small vial of graveyard dirt, 50 gold pieces worth of small, refined diamonds, ancient incense sticks that were probably really nice, but so much time has passed they are worthless and smell bad. Uh, there's another charred skull, like the one you saw in the embalming studio on the table that had the blood draining groove in it. Uh, but the mandible is still there, like sitting with it, and it's partially gilded along the bottom of the jaw. There's a small square of black silk wrapped around a broken metacarpal bone. So like the the longest finger bone, like in your first section of your finger, uh, both the silk square and the bone itself are permanently cold to the touch. If you were to like try and hold them in your hand to warm them, won't work. And there are two sealed clay pots. If you crack them open, one is graveyard dirt, one is brackish water. You'd be able to tell the brackish water, you'd be able to tell bone dust. Graveyard dirt, that's mostly so you know it is a spell component that qualifies. To you, it just looks like dirt.
Uh, I'm under the firm assumption Ayeshiei knows what spell components look like when she sees them.
Yeah,
She's had enough experience around such things.
yeah, I think any of you would. I don't think that requires a check. Now, figuring out what
And
they're for specifically would take a check.
I was gonna say, and while she doesn't know what they're all for, she will at very least uh take the bone. How big are these clay pots?
They're fairly small, like 3, 4 inches tall. It's they're not very big. Like they're meant to be carried and maneuverable as a
Okay.
spell component.
50, 60 ml bottle.
Sure.
Um, she'll take all of the bone dust, graveyard dirt, diamonds, and incense, and water, without really investigating those further. The bone and silk scares her a little at this time.
Fair.
So she's going to look at the withered vine a little closer. Probably try to tell what it's made out of, or if there's a specific, like, not. Is it just like a single vine in a loop, or is it like braided, knotted?
No, it's a single vine,
Okay.
like looped up and tied.
I need you to know that when I copy pasted your list, your bullet points are tiny little registered trademark R's.
Mhm.
Excellent. They've taken a different shape between OneNote than they appeared in
I saw
Roll20.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think she's most interested right now in what type of vine it might be. So nature?
Yeah. Yeah. Nature would be. I'd say yeah. Nature over survival for actually identifying a thing.
It's a 9.
Uh, it doesn't really have any good identifying features. Like it's big and thick enough to be at least like a finger. in a, like a like a coal-sized finger in diameter. Certainly not one of your fingers in diameter.
Like ring sized.
Yeah, yeah. But otherwise,
Does that
you can't really figure out other than it is like rigid but flexible in the way that a vine is.
that gives her an idea of how hard it is to break based on Cole's fingers?
She'll go ahead and tuck that away before moving on to the charred skull.
Okay.
Gonna touch it to start with.
It's a charred skull.
Like human sized?
Yes.
Okay, for some reason my brain's like, no, it's a tiny little like
No, no, it's a full-sized humanoid skull. It doesn't look like any sort of goblinoid. It doesn't have tusks like it might be an orc or a half-orc. More identifying features would need a check.
She knows that things that are gilded sometimes have magical component use. But nothing immediately probably would come to mind. Could I either history or arcana to see if I can determine if this is a magic component and what it might be related to? Not necessarily like what it does, but school of magic sort of thing.
Sure, that would be an arcana.
Okay. Slightly better, technically.
You wouldn't necessarily be able to determine a lot other than this just kind of has the feel of a spell component.
Yeah. Sort of it's gilded. Gilded things are magic.
A lot of more powerful spell components require additional effects or refinements, and that you would know. So whether gilding something or taking something that's valuable and expensive and turning it into a powder is sometimes a thing. So it kind of fits the bill for specific modifications to a thing that wouldn't normally be modified this way because it is involved as a spell component or some other aspect of magic.
Okay. And everyone else is just touching things willy nilly. I guess she'll touch this willy nilly. She'll
Yeah,
touch
it's the spirit.
the silken bone
It's cold.
very carefully. Doesn't want to break it more.
Okay. Break it more?
Because it's a broken metacarpal bone.
Oh, yes, yes. Sorry, I don't know why I thought something else. But yes, like it's broken in the sense that it's cracked visibly, but it doesn't look like it's a moment away from like cracking in two. But because I know you're all curious, it is cracked hot dog style, not hamburger style.
Bless you.
Which, if I remember right, Pez, hot dog style is the respectful way to cut a thing.
It
Okay.
is. It's the respectful way to kill a foe is to cut them hot dog style.
To cut them hot dog style. Hamburger style, when killing a foe, is extremely disrespectful. This has been established by recognized experts in the field of asinine knowledge. Also known as, it's from one of our YouTuber channels that we like to watch.
Nice.
But yeah, the silk is still a really nice quality. It is a very even, very rich, deep black hue. And the bone is also about humanoid-ish sized. Wouldn't definitely be anybody your size. Wouldn't be anybody more like standard goblin or dwarf size, probably. But they're not chilly. They are cold to touch. Not so much that you worry you would like get a cold injury from it, but if you're on the verge of a heat injury, you could press this against your forehead and you would get relief.
Well, it feels important. I do get the urge to fix the bone, but that also feels important that it is cracked so specifically. Yeah, I don't know what I would do to try to have more insight on that. Just stare at it really intensely. I don't have, things to mess with an estuary.
It's true.
So I do not get the same pings that other people would get.
It's true.
Motherfucking what?
Don't worry about it.
That'll be for RP some other time.
When Cole realizes he's the normal one.
No, it's what kind of fucking caster?
Me.
I appreciate that this is your first time playing an Evard, where estuaries are a unique function. You are immediately this upset and confused by this notion that she doesn't have one. I love it, but we'll get there. That's player knowledge for now.
Yeah, could I either... I feel like perception wouldn't give me much more than what I already have here.
Probably not.
I could like try to look into the magic some more, but I'm not sure if I could get anything out of it.
Maybe. You can spend some time looking at it and thinking, and I will figure out a couple at least like suspicions you might come up with. I just can't think of them right now because I.
As like otherwise, I'm just gonna keep rolling Arcana on
Right,
things
exactly.
and hoping that I can. So I'll contemplate this bone, and eventually I'll just tuck it away with everything else.
Okay. Are you
I like
taking
that
all
you're-
of that stuff though?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I like that you're tucking things away rather than just folding the pack up that it was obviously a part of.
It looks big. It looks big on the screen.
Because it's unfolded.
It's true. It isn't that big. That was the smallest the asset could be put down and look vaguely like what it's supposed to be.
Well, if it's like a small component pouch, I will just put everything back in the component pouch.
It is. It's like
Okay.
maybe 10% larger than the average component pouch, but it's still perfectly like wieldable, packable. It is not cumbersome,
Okay.
more so than a standard one is.
Just
So
if it was like 2 feet by 1 foot, I didn't want to.
No, it is not.
even if you're a weird caster and don't use component pouches, some of us do.
I never said I didn't use a component pouch.
I don't know. You're doing a lot of weird things.
Says the man who's touching cursed teeth.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, for any of chat, we have not had any meta conversations, so we don't know specifics about our characters outside of the game that we've played.
Correct.
So
that is
these
how I run the
reactions-
games.
Yeah, these reactions are genuine, and my frustration is real.
when you guys in chat learn things about the characters through like in-game events and discussions, if that's new information for you, it's probably new information for the players too. Like that should be the standard assumption. That is how I try and keep people immersed in the world, is learning things about each other at the same rate their characters do. It helps. It's fun. Cole, last thing of the night before we pause and continue exploring next week. This very nice fancy gold chest.
Mm-hmm.
This one just opens. It doesn't have a lock on it. Presumably it's, all of this stuff is behind a secret door, behind a very heavily enchanted magical door that demanded a blood sacrifice to open standard-wise. Presumably something in here might not need any further protection, from a lock. So you can just open this one. Inside, you find a bunch of silver coins. Particularly, you find 2 full coin purses that when you crack them open, they're just full of silver coins. So that is 600 silver pieces each. Or not each, both. 300 each.
Okay.
There's a single zircon gem that'd be
Ooh.
worth 20 gold pieces, so like very nice. There is a chrysoprase gem, which is a really, really, really rare gem for Evard. If you don't know what that is, I did a lot of looking at gemstones for planning all this out. I want to say that one's green. I could be wrong. I'm not going to look it up now. But chrysoprase, uh, you guys can look up chrysoprase. I'll put it in chat, or yeah, so you can see. Sorry, my brain is running out of power tonight. I did our taxes today. And as a small business owner doing taxes, there are extra things. Um, but there's a chrysoprase gem that is worth 70, I can read, 70 gold pieces. Like, very, very nice. Nemo, you look at those and you might drool a little bit as, like, an appraiser.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
eat your heart out any jeweler you've ever met. Like, these are beautiful. There are only two other things in that chest, Cole. One of them is a book. This book doesn't look like the other books. It's thick. Like, thicker than most of them that you've seen, but, like, its dimensions are a little bit smaller height and width-wise. So it kind of makes up for it by being a little bit thicker, but it's bound in dark leather that's crisscrossed with silver lines, like
Ooh.
possibly actual silver inlaid into this cover, like thin strands like some people use to weave into their clothing to show off their wealth. Very popular thing to do in Gareland. Um, but the style of these crisscrossing lines and embellishments are kind of evocative of a map or like a chart, maybe like a star chart or something. And it's like a dark black purple gradient, and it has a little green bookmark, the kind that's like stitched in at the top of the spine, so it's just like always there. That's put into a random page. It's just like a nice green cloth bookmark, and it has a little bronze talisman of a sun or maybe a star at the end to like help weigh it down so it stays in its place, preserving your page. That's one of the things, besides the valuable coins and gems. The other one is a figurine, a black figurine. It looks like it's probably made out of onyx, and it's carved into the shape of a dog.
A puppy.
That's pretty much it. It is an onyx figurine of a dog, like mastiff type dog, not like dachshund.
It matters.
It does.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just thinking of the Egyptian style, like a dog
Anubis, the jackal.
guarding, yeah, jackal guarding a temple, just on its belly, all four paws facing forward, head raised.
Fair. This one is a little stockier, so more massive than jackally.
Mhm.
And this one is standing, so you can walk him across the tabletop if
Yay.
you're having a fit of childlike joy and splendor in life.
Kill
Uh,
that inner child.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do that when we're resting around a campfire.
Okay.
fair enough.
Hey, Mama.
I'm
Sorry,
waiting
talking cat.
for a butt before our night ends.
So I'm assuming Cole, you probably are just gonna nab all of that.
Oh yeah, I'll just pick up the box.
Okay. Uh, the dog figurine is apparently an attunable item.
Oh.
Puppy.
uh, and that book, looking at it, it's not in Terran. You recognize this. This is a spell book.
Ooh.
As such, it can be attuned, and for any wizards in your life, they can use it as a spellcasting focus. It does have a couple of things in it already, but I'll get that to you another time.
Oh wow! I wonder who could utilize that.
That I've got one or two ideas personally, but
Yeah, right.
that's up to you ultimately.
Yeah. Someone likes books, but I can read this one. I'm not illiterate.
um, as you guys are doing that, Varkon stops and from breaks his attention away from the book with a tongue on it, and he looks at the sarcophagus and he goes, and he doesn't actually look to Ayeji Cole. He looks right at you, and he does say this in Giant, but he just goes, "Who do you think is inside?"
Hmm.
Is Cole
Do
ask
you
for
pantomime?
help?
Do you pantomime me?
Cole's gonna turn his attention away from his goodies and look at Varkon.
He says, "Who do you think is inside?"
Ooh. I'd guess someone of great importance. Maybe a high priest or the ruler over this land.
He says something else. He very much wants to know. Would you help him open it?
How
I
about
feel the urge
no?
to stand near the door.
Nemo actually like speaks up. Like, how about no?
Okay, you can
Don't
tell him.
put ripples in the pond. Don't put ripples in the pond.
It really ripples my ponds, man.
And
Yeah.
as you're saying this, and she is interpreting to Varkon, you can tell he's a little confused whether she like literally translated "don't put ripples in a pond" or used some other comparable metaphor in Giant. He seems a little confused, but his hands are on the lid. He hasn't pushed yet, but he was absolutely about to. And we'll find out next week if he does or not.
Okay.
But that'll be all for
Like,
tonight.
I was on the edge of my seat this entire session because, like, every time you like, there's a couple of things in here, and you slowly list them out, and the last thing you said was like, "It's the thing,"
yeah,
and it's
every
not.
single thing. And you look in here, and okay. And you look in here. Oh, yeah. You see, behind this, the library door, through the magic barrier door, inside the or the reliquary, inside of a stone chest. It's just like, oh, we keep going deeper.
It sounds really stressful to be like so dedicated to the contract. I'm glad I'm not.
Oh, guys, it's time. Guys, it might be time.
I'm gonna try to show Zoe on camera.
I think we get a first ever Zoe Bear on Cat Cam. Yes!
I gotta pull up cat cam quick.
Oh,
Oh,
we got some old feet for free.
oh
Yeah.
fuck. Oh no.
She's so
You know,
cute.
some people will open up like an
Oh
OnlyFans for
no.
that shit, but you know,
I
Scared her
know.
off.
Damn it.
You're welcome. I gave that for free for the sake of this cat's internet premiere.
Oh,
so
I
cute.
missed it.
It's
There was
okay.
an ad.
Oh, there'll be a VOD on YouTube though.
Yeah, I'll have to
yeah.
check that out.
Yeah, it'll be up there later tonight. But
You can clip it.
oh shit, you're right. You can go back and clip it. It'll pull up the last like minute or two for you to set the clip. Um, yeah, I don't remember how to do that off the top of my head.
I'm
We'll
getting
figure it out
right.
later.
Yeah. But thanks for playing tonight, guys. I appreciate your flexibility postponing a night so that everybody can be better rested. I have not heard otherwise that next week needs to be anything but our regular Wednesday night at 7, so I'll plan to see y'all then. If I
Yay!
said in all of the information and descriptions and stuff tonight, if I said that I owe you something besides Cola Nemo, I know I still owe you stuff about your estuaries. I'm working on that. But just about like the stuff you've encountered tonight, if you think about it after tonight, but before next session, feel free to poke me. I will try and remember and like go back and watch and see what I need to get to you guys, but there's a chance I might not. So I just might not remember. So yeah,
That's
that
think
fair.
you
I
clipped that right.
I love the thumbnail. It's just mostly his knee.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can't say it's the greatest clip I've ever done, but
that's fair. It's good enough. It'll
fantastic.
It'll
do.
Well,
it'll work.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for
Thanks,
playing
Rolf.
tonight, friends. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Yep.
good night. Bye
Toodles.
bye.
Shit ton of
Bye.
notes to write. Good night.
Okie dokie. Thanks for hanging out tonight, friends. I'm glad we got to see Zoe. That's our mama cat that we adopted from outside, and when we brought them inside, her kitten was like 2 months old. Uh, and they've been in our house since last summer. We're very excited. We love them very much. I call her Zoe Bear because one day my brain did a goof and tried to call her by her name, but also tried to call her Mama Bear. So now she's just Zoe Bear. Also, she's incredibly physically strong. Like, I have tried to forcibly move her when she's had her claws latched into something not wanting to be moved. Like, with all the muscles I use to throw around a 300-pound billy goat, and I couldn't dislodge her. So she's the Zoe Bear, and she's the sweetest. But I'll stop gushing about the cats. Thank you for hanging out. I had a lot of fun tonight. There's a lot of description as they're going through stuff and interacting with things, and I try and prepare for this level of detail, although not all settings and everything will have quite so much detail as the campaign goes forward. But I try, because if you're in a place like this taking the time to explore it bit by bit, I want it to be rewarding and be able to give you all of the distinct things that stand out. So DMing can be a lot of work, but I think it's worth it personally, and I hope it's been worth it for you guys and enjoyable to see and prompt some of the sillies that we get into, like the fact that Cole may or may not actually know a Yejie's name, and everybody as a free action on their turn gets one free dig at Cole. And we've been making use of both of those things, and I enjoy it. So, more shenanigans and more potentially interesting things with a golden sarcophagus happening next week. But stay tuned, there'll be more to follow. We'll see you then.